Hey everyone! Stack lessons here. Forget rote memorization. S3 storage classes, lifecycle policies, and durability follows a logic you can reason through. Watch. A startup parked rarely touched backups in S3 standard for a year and paid roughly 23 times more than they needed to. The data was fine. The durability was fine. They just picked the wrong storage class. By the end of this video, you'll know how to pick the right S3 storage class from a scenario's access pattern, retention window, and retrieval requirement, and how lifecycle policies automate the transitions without surprise bills. Here's what's coming. S3 looks like one service, but it's actually 7 storage classes with very different price tags, and the cost gap between them is enormous. In the next few minutes, you'll learn how to map any access pattern to the right class, how to automate the transitions with lifecycle policies, and how the minimum duration rules on the colder classes can quietly raise your bill if you move data too soon. The durability story stays the same across all of them, which is the one fact most people get wrong on first read. Before we dig in, let's pin down 5 terms that come back over and over. A storage class is one S3 tier with its own price per gigabyte, retrieval latency, retrieval fee, and minimum duration. Durability is the probability your data isn't lost, 11 nines across every class. Availability is the probability the data is reachable right now, and that one does vary between classes. Minimum storage duration is a billing floor. Delete early, and you still pay for the full period. And a lifecycle policy is the bucket-level rule that moves objects between classes or deletes them automatically over time. Here's the headline. S3 standard runs about 2.3 cents per gigabyte month. Glacier Deep Archive runs about 1/10 cent, roughly $1 per terabyte per month. That's a 23 times gap for the same API, the same 11 nines of durability, and the same bucket. The only thing you changed is one word in a configuration, and that's why this topic comes up so often. Picking the wrong class can multiply the monthly bill by an order of magnitude. S3 is actually 7 storage classes sitting behind one API. Standard is the default for frequently accessed data. Intelligent tiering moves objects between hot and cold automatically. Standard IA is for infrequent access across multiple zones, and one zone IA is the same idea but in a single zone for less money. Then there are 3 Glacier tiers: Glacier Instant Retrieval for archived data you still need in milliseconds, Glacier Flexible Retrieval where you wait minutes to 12 hours, and Glacier Deep Archive, the cheapest cloud storage anywhere, with 12 to 48-hour retrieval. We'll take these one at a time. Here's the mental model to carry through the whole video. 3 things change between S3 classes: the price per gigabyte, the retrieval latency, and the minimum storage duration. Durability does not change. Every class is 11 nines durable, full stop. So when a scenario asks you to pick a class, you're trading off cost against speed against commitment, never against the safety of your data. Picture a retail company's storage. S3 standard is the showroom shelf, instant access, premium rent. Standard IA is the stockroom behind the showroom, still milliseconds away, cheaper rent, but the manager charges a fetch fee each time you go back. Glacier Instant Retrieval is the off-site warehouse with same-day courier service, cheaper rent, fast delivery, but you sign a 90-day lease. Glacier Flexible Retrieval is a shipping container at the port. They'll dig it out in a few hours. And Deep Archive is a salt mine in Pennsylvania. Cheapest possible, but it takes 12 to 48 hours to get a forklift down there. Same goods inside every location. Different rent, different weight, different lease. Let's start with the default. S3 standard stores every object across 3 or more availability zones. That's where the multi-AZ resilience from episode 3 shows up. It carries a 99.99% availability service level agreement. There's no minimum storage duration, and there's no retrieval fee. You pay roughly 2.3 cents per gigabyte month in the US East 1 region. The combination that matters is 0 minimum and 0 retrieval fee. That's the tell when a scenario describes short-lived or unpredictable data with no extra fees. Standard is the right answer. Intelligent tiering is what you reach for when you genuinely don't know how often objects will be touched. It has 3 automatic tiers: frequent access, infrequent access, and archive. Instant access happen without you lifting a finger. And there are 2 more opt-in tiers, archive access and deep archive access, that you can enable for even deeper savings. S3 watches each object and shuffles it between them based on real access patterns. The cue in any scenario is the words unknown, unpredictable, or changing access patterns. When you see those, intelligent tiering is the answer. You pay a small per object monitoring fee, but there are no retrieval fees and no minimum storage duration. Think of a smart closet that watches what clothes you actually wear. The shirts you reach for every week stay on the front rack. Jackets you haven't touched in 30 days slide to the back. The wedding tux you haven't worn in 90 days goes up to the attic. You pay a small monthly fee for the closet watching you, but you never pay a fetch fee to get something back. That's intelligent tiering in one image: automatic, optimized, and honest about its small overhead. The Amazon Web Services user guide puts it directly. Intelligent tiering is the ideal storage class when you have unknown or changing access patterns, and there are no retrieval fees. That second sentence matters. It's what separates intelligent tiering from the IA classes we're about to look at. With intelligent tiering, you never get hit with a per gigabyte fee when you finally read an object back. Now the 2 infrequent access classes. Standard IA stores objects across 3 or more zones, with a 99.9% availability target, a 30-day minimum duration, and a per gigabyte retrieval fee. Use it for backups you really need to keep safe. One zone IA is the same idea, but stored in a single availability zone. Availability drops to 99.5%. You save about 20% on storage, and the 30-day minimum is still there. The trade is that if that one zone is destroyed, the data is gone. So one zone IA is only for recreatable data, like secondary backups or replicated copies. Amazon Web Services spells out the trade-off in their own documentation. Data stored in one zone IA is not resilient to the physical loss of an availability zone from disasters like earthquakes, fires, and floods. Read that carefully. One zone IA is still 11 nines durable within the zone, but if the zone itself is physically destroyed, those objects are gone, because there are no copies in other zones. That is an availability and resilience trade-off, not a change in the durability rating. The only safe use is data you can recreate from somewhere else. Quick halfway check on the warm classes, side by side. On the left, no minimum and no retrieval fee, that's S3 standard and intelligent tiering. On the right, a 30-day minimum and a retrieval fee, that's standard IA and one zone IA, with one zone IA trading multi-AZ resilience for about 20% lower cost. And critically, all 4 return data in milliseconds. The next 3 classes, the Glacier family, change the speed dimension, but only sometimes. Glacier Instant Retrieval is the class that breaks everyone's mental model. It returns objects in milliseconds, exactly the same speed as standard, but the storage cost is a fraction of what standard charges. The catch is a 90-day minimum storage duration and a per gigabyte retrieval fee on every read. So this class is purpose-built for data you rarely touch but absolutely need instantly when you do touch it. Engineers default to thinking Glacier means slow. That mental model is wrong, and it costs people points. Glacier Instant Retrieval reads in milliseconds. The Glacier label refers to the pricing structure, the 90-day minimum, and the per gigabyte retrieval fee, not the speed. When a scenario says rarely accessed, but needs immediate retrieval, Glacier Instant Retrieval is the answer, not Glacier Flexible, not standard IA Glacier Instant. Where does Glacier Instant Retrieval actually fit? Medical imaging is the textbook case. A hospital stores millions of DICOM scans, and any one of them might be needed years later for a single patient lookup, but it has to come up instantly. News and media archives are the same shape, rarely accessed, but the editor expects them immediately. Regulatory PDFs that auditors might ask for at any moment fit too. The rule of thumb is simple: accessed less than once a quarter, but no waiting allowed. Now the two truly cold tiers. Glacier Flexible Retrieval has a 90-day minimum and 3 retrieval options. Expedited gives you back the object in 1 to 5 minutes for a fee. Standard takes 3 to 5 hours, and bulk takes 5 to 12 hours, and is completely free. That free bulk retrieval is the headline. It makes flexible the right pick for periodic disaster recovery restores. Deep Archive is colder still. It has a 180-day minimum. Retrieval takes about 12 hours on standard or up to 48 hours on bulk, and the storage price is around $1 per terabyte per month. It is, by a wide margin, the cheapest storage in the cloud. Here's where engineers get a surprise on the bill. Pulling 10 terabytes back from Deep Archive with bulk retrieval, the 48-hour option costs about $25 in data retrieval. The same restore with standard, the 12-hour option, costs roughly $200 with per-request charges on top. Same data, same destination, about 8 times the price because someone picked the faster tier by default. If you can wait, pick bulk. One mechanic that catches people out: objects in Glacier Flexible Retrieval and Deep Archive are not directly readable from a normal GET request. Your application has to call restore object first, and then wait minutes, hours, or up to 2 days, depending on the tier you picked. So if a scenario says immediate or real-time retrieval, you can eliminate those 2 classes instantly. Glacier Instant Retrieval is the cold storage option that supports direct reads. Now that we have covered how all 7 classes behave in practice, there's one more distinction worth pinning down: the difference between durability and availability. Now a distinction worth pinning down in S3. Durability is the probability your data is not lost, and it's identical across all 7 classes. It does not get worse in cheaper classes. The actual number is 99.999999999%, 11 nines. To put that in perspective, if you stored 10 million objects, you'd expect to lose roughly one of them every 10,000 years. Availability is different. Availability is the probability your data is reachable right this moment, and this is what cheaper classes trade away. Standard, Glacier Flexible Retrieval, and Deep Archive are all designed for 99.99% availability. Standard IA and Glacier Instant Retrieval both offer 99.9%, and OneZone IA drops to 99.5%. So cheaper classes don't lose your data more often. They just may not be reachable as often. Amazon Web Services says it in one line in the user guide: all of these storage classes offer high durability. Not most, not the expensive ones, all of them. That's the line to remember when a question tries to convince you that picking a cheaper class somehow puts your data at risk of being lost. Picture a safety deposit box at a bank. Durability is the probability your gold bar is still sitting in the box. 11 nines means essentially never gone. Availability is the probability the bank lobby is open right now so you can walk in and get to it. The cheaper S3 classes don't make your gold bar disappear. They just keep the lobby open fewer hours. These are the 4 numbers worth knowing cold. S3 Standard and Intelligent Tearing, 0 days. Standard IA and OneZone IA, 30 days. Glacier Instant Retrieval and Glacier Flexible Retrieval, 90 days. Glacier Deep Archive, 180 days. Notice the pattern: 0, 30, 90, 180. Each colder tier roughly doubles the lock-in of the one before it. Hold that doubling pattern in your head and the whole column comes back without rote memorization. Here's the rule that turns a cheaper tier into an expensive one. If you delete an object before the 30-day minimum on standard infrequent access, you still get charged for the full 30 days. The same logic applies at 90 days for the Glacier classes and at 180 days for Deep Archive. The billing floor is the billing floor. Early deletion does not reduce the bill. It just means you paid for storage you didn't use. Here's a concrete case where the cheaper class costs more. Imagine weekly disaster recovery snapshots that get rotated every 20 days. An engineer sees standard IA is cheaper per gigabyte and moves the snapshots there. But standard IA's 30-day minimum charges them for 30 days no matter what, so they pay for 10 days of storage they never used, on top of the retrieval fee. The supposedly cheaper class ends up costing more than standard would have. The decision rule: only use IA classes when objects will live well beyond the minimum duration. This is where lifecycle policies come in. A lifecycle policy is a bucket-level rule that automatically transitions objects between classes after a set number of days, or expires, deletes them after a set number of days. Transitions only flow downhill, hot to cold. There's no lifecycle rule that moves an object back from a colder tier to a hotter one, that requires an explicit restore and a copy. Lifecycle policies are how real teams stop paying standard prices for data nobody has touched in months. Here's a typical 7-year compliance archive in action. On day 0, an object lands in standard, where the team might query it during the active month. On day 30, the lifecycle rule transitions it to standard IA, same milliseconds latency, lower storage cost. On day 90, it drops to Glacier Flexible Retrieval, where free bulk restores are an option. On day 365, it falls into Deep Archive at roughly $1 per terabyte per month. And on day 2555, 7 years, it expires and is deleted. Every arrow flows downhill. There is no lifecycle arrow that moves anything back uphill. To bring an object back to standard, your application has to call restore object and then copy it. The lifecycle pitfall is the same billing flaw in disguise. If you transition an object out of a class before its minimum duration is up, you still owe the remainder of that minimum. So a lifecycle rule that moves an object from Glacier Instant Retrieval on day 40 to Deep Archive still owes the remaining 50 days of the 90-day minimum. Aggressive cold-to-colder rules can actually raise the bill instead of lowering it. 3 lifecycle pitfalls worth knowing. First, hopping between cold tiers too quickly still pays each class's minimum, so the savings evaporate. Second, transitioning many objects smaller than 128 kilobytes can cost more in per-request transition fees than the storage you save, and those per-transition request fees add up fast on buckets with millions of objects. Third, Deep Archive is a terminal tier. There's no lifecycle rule that transitions objects out of it. Combine these and the lesson is clear. Build lifecycle rules around access patterns and minimums, not just the per gigabyte price tag. Here's the decision rule in one screen. Unknown or unpredictable access maps to intelligent tearing. Rarely accessed but needs milliseconds maps to Glacier Instant Retrieval. Hours are okay and you want a free bulk restore. That's Glacier Flexible Retrieval. Lowest possible cost with 7 to 10 year retention is Deep Archive. Recreatable data where cheap matters most is one zone IA and frequent, short-lived, no extra fees is plain S3 standard. Match the qualifier word in the scenario to a row, and you have your answer. Quick spot the mistake round. 5 scenarios. See if you catch the flaw before I say it. 1. Someone schedules a transition to IA after 7 days. The flaw: the 30-day minimum bills you for the full month anyway, so short-lived data costs more, not less. 2. A team moves logs to Glacier and warns that retrievals will take hours. The flaw: they meant Glacier Instant Retrieval, which returns in milliseconds. Not all Glacier tiers are slow. 3. An architect rejects one zone IA because the data could corrupt. The flaw: durability is identical. The risk is only that an entire zone is destroyed, not that bytes rot faster. 4. A finance lead assumes deep archive is less durable because it's cheaper. The flaw: durability is 11 nines across every class, full stop. And 5. An engineer claims lifecycle rules always cut the bill. The flaw: aggressive rules that ignore the minimum durations can actually raise it. Here's the idea worth taking with you. The whole topic reduces to one honest question. How often will you actually touch this data, and how fast do you need it back when you do? Answer that truthfully and the right storage class picks itself. Lifecycle policies are just the mechanism that enforces the decision automatically over time, moving objects from hot to cold but never back up. Remember that durability is 11 nines across every class. That part never changes. What does change are the minimums and the availability numbers, both worth committing to memory, and the two queues to lock in. Unknown access pattern points to intelligent tearing, rarely accessed but needs to be instant points to Glacier Instant Retrieval. Pause on the bullets if you want, then let's put it to work with 5 quick questions. All right, time to put your knowledge to the test. Question 1. A company stores nightly database backups in Amazon S3. Each backup is rotated and deleted after 20 days. Which storage class minimizes total cost while keeping the data immediately available? Is it A. S3 Standard, B. S3 Standard IA, C. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval, or D. S3 One Zone IA? Pause here if you want more time. The right call here is A. S3 Standard. The trap is the 30-day minimum on both Standard IA and One Zone IA, and the 90-day minimum on Glacier Instant Retrieval. Data that lives 20 days hits those flaws and pays for unused storage. Standard has no minimum and no retrieval fee, making it the cheapest choice for short-lived data. Question 2. A hospital archives DICOM medical scans that are accessed maybe once every few years for a specific patient lookup, but when accessed, the data must come back in milliseconds. Which storage class is the best fit? A. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, B. S3 Standard IA, C. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval, or D. S3 Glacier Deep Archive? Lock in your answer before I give it away. This one is C. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval. The classic mistake here is picking Glacier Flexible Retrieval because of brand recognition with the Glacier name, but Flexible Retrieval requires a restore object call and a wait. Glacier Instant Retrieval is the only archive-priced class that returns data in milliseconds, which is exactly what the medical scan scenario requires. Question 3. Which statement about S3 durability and availability is correct? A. S3 Standard offers higher durability than S3 One Zone IA, which is why it costs more. B. All S3 storage classes offer 11 nines of durability. What varies between classes is availability. C. S3 Glacier Deep Archive has lower durability because data is stored on tape. Or D. S3 One Zone IA has lower durability because it uses only one availability zone. Think about which constraint matters most here. It has to be B, and here's why. Every S3 class, including Deep Archive and One Zone IA, carries the same 11 nines of durability. The numbers that differ between classes are availability, 99.99% for Standard, 99.9% for Standard IA and Glacier Instant, and 99.5% for One Zone IA. One Zone IA can still lose data if the zone itself is physically destroyed, but that isn't a reduction in the stated durability number. Question 4. A finance company must retain transaction records for 7 years to satisfy Sarbanes-Oxley, or SOX, requirements. The records will essentially never be read, but if auditors request them, a 24-hour wait is acceptable. Which class is the most cost-effective? A. S3 Standard IA. B. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval. C. S3 Intelligent Tearing. Or D. S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Run the decision rule from earlier before you answer. The answer is D. S3 Glacier Deep Archive. It's the cheapest storage anywhere in the cloud, about $1 per terabyte per month. The 180-day minimum is easily covered by 7-year retention, and Deep Archive standard retrieval at roughly 12 hours fits comfortably inside the 24-hour acceptable requirement. The bulk option at up to 48 hours wouldn't fit, but standard retrieval alone satisfies the requirement. Standard IA and intelligent tearing would cost significantly more per gigabyte than Deep Archive for the same 7-year workload. Question 5. A lifecycle rule transitions objects from Glacier Instant Retrieval to Glacier Deep Archive on day 40. What's the billing consequence for an object that transitions at that point? A. No extra charge. Lifecycle transitions are always free of minimum duration fees. B. You pay only the Deep Archive rate from day 40 onward. The earlier storage is prorated. C. The transition is rejected by S3 because day 40 is below the 90-day floor. Or D. You're billed for the full 90-day minimum in Glacier Instant Retrieval, even though the object left on day 40. Lock in your answer before I give it away. It has to be D, and here's why. Glacier Instant Retrieval carries a 90-day minimum storage duration. Transitioning or deleting an object before day 90 still bills you for the full 90 days in that class. Lifecycle policies do not waive minimums. S3 doesn't reject the transition either. It happily moves the object on day 40 and quietly charges you for the remaining 50 days you never used. This is the exact trap that turns an aggressive cost optimization lifecycle rule into a higher bill than just leaving the data where it was. All right, S3 storage classes, lifecycle policies, and durability handled. Test yourself tomorrow with the quiz questions again. Spaced practice is the cheat code. Until next time.